Alrighty. We are semi-live. We're live on Back Nine Bets. We are almost live on Mayo Media Network. We are trying. I've got feedback coming in. It's chaos. But this is the world we live in. It's Back Nine Bets, episode 101. Jack's Milkshakes bring 5 boys to the yard. You damn right. It's better than yours. Jack's Milkshakes, baby. So, yes, this is Back Nine Bets, episode 101. We're in the hundreds now. We had episode 100 with Pat, and it went from Back Nine Bets on Back Nine Bets YouTube to Back Nine Bets on Mayo Media Network. So we are rocking and rolling. We will be getting that over there shortly, and it's going to work out well. So we'll get into all the questions and stuff, but just first few minutes. This is Back Nine Bets. The show is not changing one little bit. However, we are going to be on Mayo Media Network for episode 104. So 102, 103, we're still going to be on here and there, transitioning y'all over to Mayo Media Network, where we are going to do big and wonderful, beautiful things. I am seeing Mike, my main man, who helps us with the Fantasy Golf Degenerates, trying to get us on this situation. And I'm just trying to organize that. So we got a bit of chaos. In my personal life, it's day 2 of accounting. I've done 95% accounting, 5% golf the last 2 days. Not ideal. It's okay. It's going to be fun. We're going to look at the model. I've got my 5 outrights. I know who's going to win this tournament, one of those dudes. And then we're going to look at the betting market together. That's going to be how we rock and roll here. So let's do this. Barry in the house. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get deep dive on Benny on for the. Yeah, sure. Maybe we do a few deep dives if people are in the mood for that after the show. We'll see how it goes. But let's do this. Let's get into the model. And by the way, the model's a little janky today. It's not the most tidy model you'll ever see, but it is what it is. This is what we're up to today. We thriving and surviving. You know, this is basically just what we're going to get up to. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and pull up my first guy. And by the way, folks, this show is brought to you by rotoballer.com. Rotoballer PGA is where I do all my business. That's all there for you. Go check out rotoballer.com. You can get my model out there. You can get my showdown model. You can get my picks in the Discord when I make them on Monday mornings. You can get all of our tools, our research stations, all of that stuff over at rotoballer.com. Use code MANIAC for 10% off. Please go and check that out. If you get the platinum package, you also get Spencer's stuff, which includes my stuff and his stuff, and literally everything at Rotoballer. And that is a very, very, very affordable 10% off for you right there using code MANIAC. So please, 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 please go and check that out over at rotoballer.com and use code MANIAC. So you'll be very, very surprised with how much stuff you get for how little it costs over there. We are trying to bring you guys the love. Let's check out some outrights. And let's filter on the model here. See where it is. It's broken. That's exciting. So we broke the model. We'll just let it sit like this because this is the world we're living in, like I said. First up is Victor Hovland. He's 18-1. He's 18th in the field in strokes gained for 2024. It's not ideal. It's also fine. Like if you take a look at everyone around him, it's him and Patrick Cantley that are the 2 guys that are really struggling the most. Yet we find them at 10-2 and 9-4 on DFS side of things. What I'm not too concerned about, though, with Victor Hovland is that 3rd place finish at the PGA Championship. That was a contentious effort. It was an effort that almost had him win a PGA Championship after displaying and showing some seriously, seriously shitty form leading up to that. Now he's back with Coach Mayo, and things are looking good. So we're on Victor Hovland this week. He won at Muirfield last year. He's built for these kind of venues, these major-esque type places where driving straight and far, that's what Victor Hovland does. If you take a look at what his stats have been up to this year, what's been the biggest deformity of his game? 74th in strokes gained around the green. Let's take a look how many. We've got 73 people in the field. So whatever the hell's going on with that model, just know that there's one person that's not in this field that's even better than Victor Hovland around the greens. That's just how bad he's been chipping around the greens. And he's only played 28 rounds of golf this year, by the way. So he hasn't been playing a lot. He's been battling the demons. He's been doing his thing, but it is what it is. We expect, if you take a look at the PGA Championship, things were moving in the right direction. We know that Mayo is his guru. The short game showed up immediately. You don't finish third at a PGA Championship with bad short game. We're expecting that to continue. We're expecting Victor on these courses with a thick cabbage around the greens in particular is where he thrives. So we just love him. And 18-1, if we were getting Victor in the form that he was winning all those tournaments, he's sitting 7, 9, 8 with Rory and Xander. But we're not, because he's been struggling. So what we're trying to do is get ahead of the curve here, leaning in on that course history, leaning in on what we saw at the PGA Championship, and taking a shot on this guy. The ball striking's there, the putting's there. It's just, does he chip himself out of this tournament? The chances are less likely now that he's back with his main coach, Joe Mayo. So that is the Victor Hovland spiel for you. It's delightful stuff across the board, but he's been a bit iffy here and there. We get a nice number at 18-1. Let's party, Victor freaking Hovland. I will zoom in a touch more while we're doing this. Let's check out some other guys we're going to be betting over here today. So we're going to go down to Sahith Theegala. Usually I have all of this stuff rocking and rolling. It's been one of these weeks. It is what it is. And this is going back to what Tybo asked you. How many holes with Byron? How many holes with Hovland Straka playoff go? Will Hovland Straka playoff go this week? I think 2. Seb's going to hit it in the bunkers on the second playoff hole. But Seb's playing some good golf, Tybo. I'm assuming he's on your card after hitting freaking Bobby Mack last week. Shout out to you, by the way. Good stuff. Also, last week was a rough one. We did Breaking 100. And for those of you that are new, I'm going to kind of be repeating myself, kind of just dumbing stuff down for everyone that's on the Mayo side that hasn't heard me speak about all this stuff. Breaking 100 is my betting article that I will release tomorrow morning. It includes bets for $100 worth of a budget. So you take your bets, you allocate them specifically across the board, and try and win your money. Over this year, we've been crushing the placement side of things. We've been struggling on the outrights. We record our bets. We know what's going on. Last week, we had a weird feeling about it. We only bet $50 for the total, and we lost all freaking $50 last week. You know, like that was the week we had. We knew things were going to be weird, and we lost every single bet. Alex Noren missed the cut for a T20. Adam Scott finished like 39th, missed his T30 by an inch. Taylor Pendrith finished just outside his top 10. Mackenzie Hughes finished just outside his top 5. We were very, very close. We bet Tom Kim live at 220-1. Then he goes and makes 2 pars on the par 5s, pars the par 4 that's drivable, and misses a 4-footer, all on Sunday. So tough scenes over the weekend at the RBC Canadian Open. But we're back to the Memorial, and we're going to be going to Sahith, who, by the way, missed the cut last week, broke his driver, sucked on the greens. We get now a 40-1 on Sahith Theegala. We've bet that. We betted placements each way, 6 places for a 5th, so 8-1 for a top 6. Sahith, if you take a look at what he's been up to, 13th in the field in strokes gained off the tee. Important stat this week. If you take a look at putting, 8th in the field. 69th in strokes gained around the greens is not ideal for Sahith. But somehow, some way, he gets it done. I don't think he's played here before, doesn't have a course history, and neither has Sam Burns, it seems, or at least in the last 5 years. But we'll see what cooks with these dudes. We know that Sahith's a very good putter. We've seen Billy Horschel do it over here, where you can gain with the putting, because how you gain with putting at this venue is make 1,000,000 par putts from 5 to 20 feet. That's what Sahith can do. He's very good from that range. He's very good from even further away on the greens too. He's a very good putter. I think he's also a very good chipper. This around the green numbers is weird. I think if he's in the mix, this isn't going to hurt him. I don't think he's losing fractions of strokes around the green. It's often he's losing a significant amount of strokes on one shot where he like thins it out the bunker over the green into the water, or chunks it, like trying to hit the miracle shot, chunks it, and then it rolls back to his feet like we saw at the RBC Canadian last week. That's the kind of stuff he's doing. It's not like he's chipping it to 12 feet every single time and not getting it close to the hole. This guy can chip it in. This is the thing. Like, for as bad as he is around the greens, it would not be shocking if he led the field around the green this week. That's kind of the situation we're dealing with here. It's really, really weird to see that that's his metric for the around the green play. Out the thick cabbage, we've seen him at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, chipping in multiple times. He gained 3 strokes in that one day and then lost half a stroke the rest of the rounds. It was just really weird what he's doing. I still think Sahith, according to the model, he's 4th. Let's go to the actual model itself and just see what. Look at this. This is the disaster that I have to deal with every single freaking week. And those are outrights, by the way. Okay, here we go. Filtering on the model, yeah. Sort smallest to largest. This is all not making a lot of sense. So we'll have to wait and see. The model's a disaster. It's okay. I thought we could have some love. It's not. We'll move back. We'll move back to the main source here and keep going. But Sahith, this is the thing. He's been our guy. We've been betting him a lot. We're just going to keep going. He's due for a win. At some point, it's got to happen. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Take a look at his top 5 rates, pretty high. He's always inside the top 5. So that's why we like those each ways with Sahith the Gala. So let's go to Sahith for a top 5 as well. That's along with our each way there. So Sahith's our second guy. He's going to bring the second milkshake to the yard. Gotcha, the caddy. I really hope you give Bob Dougie Map a huge shout out for achievement. Sure, caddy, I will. Oh, by the way, so I've got some fun stats for you guys. Robert McIntyre becomes the 7th guy since 2017, like 144 tournaments that I've looked at. Prior to Bobby winning, 6 people had lost on strokes approach and still won the tournament. Bobby Mack never lost, but he never gained. He scored 0 on approach. Like, he was losing 0.99 going into round 4 and gained 0.99 in round 4 to literally gain nor lose 0 strokes. Like, very weird. So he's the 7th guy to do that. It was a Cam Smith putting performance. It was something I expected to fall apart, and he just kept it together. So shout out to Bobby Mack. Another winner on the PGA Tour that hardly anyone had. Tough times for us outright bettors. So congrats to him. And you know what? I'm pissy and sad and salty about it because I wanted to hit the winner. I had Tom Kim, whatever. As a non-better, that's the shit that you live for. This is so cool. I'm salty because I lost money about it, but Bobby, just a small town boy living in a small town world with his dad on the bag, winning the RBC Canadian Open. That's exciting stuff. Growing up, he was likely with his dad. I mean, I've read his dad left work. He had to take leave from work. Bobby's on tour. Now they just won millions of dollars, so they're good to go now. And hopefully Bobby can keep it going. And you know what the funny thing is Bob flew back to Scotland instead of going and earning another 150K or whatever the hell you earn in these signature events if you make the cut. So I don't know where his priorities are, but very excited for him. Congratulations, man. He deserved it. He blue-collared that golf course to pieces with the putter because the irons were not there. They were not there, Freddie. So some other chats here. No, not the big baby Sahith. Only if the toys are back in the pram. They back in the pram. He's the pram man. This is what he does. And yeah, you know what? Canada's never been good to him. I think he missed the cut last year or made the cut and barely, and like just struggled. He just doesn't play well in Canada. I'd imagine in Ohio, maybe he can get it done. I don't know where the hell Pepperdine is or Pepperdine University is, but yeah, we'll see what he can do. What a fairy tale in Ontario. Yeah, it really was a fairy tale. And the farewell fiver, well, that's going to have to be in the article tomorrow because, like I said, I'm running 1,000,000 miles behind this week. It is what it is. Yes. So Miles and Mike talking about the farewell fiver. The farewell fiver, and by the way, it's going to have to be like, we usually do a 4-leg, 3-ball parlay for round 1. So we have some sort of an action. And it's been a rough stretch. We've had multiple instances where 3 of the 4 bets have cashed, and we left with nothing because that's a 25-1 parlay. You got to hit all 4. And when Rory McIlroy doesn't show up to the party, when Chad Ramey shows up to the party and he wasn't supposed to, you struggle with that. So, yeah, we got Mike saying Sahit's going to go for the Pram Slam. Speaking of, do you see Novak Djokovic withdrew from the French Open because he's played more hours this year already than he ever has at any major beforehand. I think he's played 14 hours of tennis already. And he's not even in I think the quarters are still coming up. So I think he was just like, you know what? I need to win more majors. And I know this is a golf show, but he took care of his body and knew, like, if I go and try and win more of these matches to try and win this Grand Slam, I could potentially injure myself for the foreseeable future, which he, as a smart man, didn't do. So congrats to Novak on a smart WD, and congrats to everybody else in the French Open for now having a chance of winning this thing. I think it's the first time since forever that Novak, Nadal, or Federer haven't won, I think since 2002, when Andre Agassi won. I'm just reciting a random bunch of facts here that I saw on Twitter. Back to our regular paid programming over here, though. So far we've chatted about Victor. So far we've chatted about Sahith. 2 guys. They've won on the PGA Tour. Both of them more recently than not. Next up, Max Homa, 55-1. FanDuel showed up yesterday and decided that, you know what? It was like whoever was running FanDuel was hungover because they show up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday and have odds that don't make any sense. We had if you go to the odds checker grid and you check your best odds available, it was literally just a row or a column down FanDuel's list because that's where the best odds were. They show up late and had the best odds at the same time, which is not the worst thing in the world. So we pounced on a Max Homa 55 because if you go over to our situation over here, let's try this nonsense and break the model again. But we did not have Max Homa in our original 55. All right. So we're going to him at 55. Max Homa, tidy around the greens. Max Homa, if you take a look at what he's been up to the last little while, that 3rd place finish at Augusta, very, very appealing to me. I think that's where I want to be finding myself some Max Homa exposure. It is a simple money grab, folks. Like a number grab here is 55-1 on a Max Homa, who's very, very handy on these difficult courses. Not in majors, but for his hard course strokes gained to be 9th in the field, including, I guess this is only for the last year or so, but his major track record has been pretty shitty. And a lot of the majors are hard courses. So that should show up here, but he does really well on these hard courses. So that's Max Homa for you. The driver's been a bit of a problem lately, but you know what? At these hard courses, he dials it in, he grinds it out. His short game's tidy. The irons are starting to come back into form. We're really starting to see Max Homa do his thing. And 55-1 is a bit rude, if you're asking me. Djokovic has snapped his meniscus and gone, I'd best stop. Doubtful for Wimbledon anyway. Wait, he snapped his meniscus? Was that just a precautionary withdrawal, from what I understand? But yeah, the guy's a beast, dude. He's a beast. So Max, there we go. There you have it for maximum. Hopefully we can get a maximum and not a minimum from him and go from there. If you are looking to bet Max in any capacity, it's either a top 10 or a top 20 bet. I would probably lean this week into the top 10 if you are looking to kind of get your way around it. And in fact, let's actually pull that up real quick so we know exactly what's going on here. I want to make sure we have Max Homer's top 10 number. But even when you're not betting Max Homer at a signature event, top 20 odds are the way to go for Max. This is where he thrives. He's finishing inside the top 20 at like a 57% clip. That's incredible. It's really, really incredible what he's getting up to. So we like going to Max at the top 20 number. If you take a peek at his odds for this week, they are, for a top 20 for Max Homer, minus 105. That's not the worst odds in the world. It kind of implies that it's a 51% probability. He's finishing inside the top 20 at a 57% clip the last 12 months. And guess what? There's only like 70. How do we know this? Because Victor Hovland's chipping is that bad. There's 73 people in the field, apparently. So when you only have to beat another 43 people, 53 people, and you're still getting even money odds, I'm down. What's up, Phil, my man, in the chat? Loving it. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for joining in. Let's have ourselves an awesome rest of the show. We're chatting about what on earth Max Homer has been up to, and we like his top 20 number. At minus 105, we are actually going to be betting that. So that's our first live bet of the day. Minus 105 for a Max Homer top 20. If you're looking for a Max Homer top 10, you're getting it plus 250. Let's type in the top 10 here and see what the 250 kicks out. That's a 10% edge. I like that edge a lot better, actually. So, false alarm, we are not betting the top 20. We are betting the top 10 at plus 250. I like it in this field. I like the lack of exposure we have there versus laying the 1050 to win our 10 back. We're going to lay 3 to win 10 or $3.50, $4 at 2.5 to 1. So, Max Homer, top 10 at plus 250. He's doing it at a 38% clip. A lot of that was a bit earlier in the last 12 months, but we're starting to see Max kind of come together, and I don't mind this for him. You know, I don't mind it. So, you know what? Screw it. We're going, I just feel more comfortable with the top 20 bet. Double false alarm. We're going minus 105 for a top 20. That's where we're going. I like that. It's 20 people, got to beat 20 people in a 70-man field. It's a lot easier to do than 10. It changes the whole dynamic. And I understand the odds change, but I like my chances with Max inside the top 20. He hasn't been playing the greatest, you know, like that upside's been a bit rough. And why I say this is I'll actually just put it up quickly. And air my concerns on the Max Homer situation, because I've been interested in the top 10, but I think if you take a look here, sure, the Wells Fargo, we had another top 10. Maybe we're starting to find ourselves inside the top 10 again. The putt is starting to find itself again. The irons are starting to find itself again. The week after the Charles Schwab, he sucked it up. It is what it is. I think we bet him for a top 20 that week as well. Tough scenes. I think he shot like 80 the opening day. He wasn't there. Mental capacity wasn't available. I like, you know, look at the short game. He's become a really good short game specialist. And the irons are good. He's got the distance you need at this venue. Let's see what he can do. We're going back. This is what happens when I'm trying to bet this stuff on my own. We're going back to Max. We're going to change this to the top 10. This is the joys. You know, you got to do your research. Apologies for the back and forth here, but I think this is the way to bet him. We're not really seeing that top 20 consistency. We're starting to see this boom or bust potential from him. More recent, like Look at this nonsense. Look at this. Oh my God. I mean, this is what's driving that top 20 number. I mean, look at these this is just top 20 after top 20 to end last year. And then we kind of come out here and just do this, like it's been here and there. So I think that's how we're getting these rogue 55s on Max. So we'll see. I don't know what's going on with his world. I like the numbers though. So we'll go to him in that department. Next up on the outright side of things, baby. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to Back Nine Bets on Back Nine Bets YouTube, because although this show is going to Mayo Media Network on Tuesdays, the research show will be on Back Nine Bets on Sunday nights. And I'll start doing that a bit more religiously now. I've been here and there, depending on how the weekend unfolds, but I'll try and be on there a bit more and go from there. So thank you all for being here. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Let's have ourselves a jolly rest of the show. Benny On is our fourth golfer that we're going to be betting outright. And Benny On is going to be our golfer we bet top 10. If you take a look at what Benny On gets up to, his top 5 rate is ridiculous. His top 5 rate in this field is 4th. It looks like there's 3 other guys with Scotty Scheffler, 68% top 5 rate. Rory with a 33% top 5 rate. And then everyone else sitting here at 25%. Wyndham's got a 26% top 5 rate. But I don't see any other 25s. And I'm too scared to filter in case it messes up values again. But I don't mind him for a top 5, actually. Because the whole point about this show and the whole point about this column is to teach you some of these things. And we don't have a column for top 5 to top 10 rates. But you know what? We can add one right now. We can add one. Let's do this. Let's do this. Make it fancy for ourselves. We're going to do a top 5 to a top 10 ratio over here. So what this column is showing us is how often when you're finishing inside the top 40, are you also finishing inside the top 20? How often when you're finishing inside the top 20, are you also finishing inside the top 10? And as we're doing right now, what on earth is Benny On's situation with finishing inside the top 5 every time he's finishing inside the top 10? So Victor Hovland so far, 100%. Like Patrick Cantley. When these guys pop for top 5s, they're popping for top 10s as well. So as you can see here let's take a look at Benny On. That's an 86% clip. An 86% clip. So we've got ourselves a Benny On situation here that is really, really impressive. Like he's finding himself inside the top 5 way more often than we expect. I don't know if he's going to get it here, if I'm being honest with you. But at 50-1, it's not difficult to bet Benny On, especially when you be getting this track record that Benny On is showing us. It's been incredible what he's been up to the last little while. We've got finishes since the PGA Championship. T43 at the PGA, it is what it is. He kind of didn't have the best time out there. Prior to that, Wells Fargo, 3rd. CJ Cup, 4th. Arnold Palmer Invitational, 8th. Somewhere in between there. The Masters, 16th. Yeah, baby. So, you're starting to see, look at this. Like this guy is finishing inside the top 5 so often. So Barry, I don't even know about a top 10 bet. I think a top 5 bet is where it's at. Maybe you do a bit of a ladder situation, because if you take a look at Benny On's betting situation here, I don't think I have that open, but he's crushing the top 10 and top 20 market, the top 5, top 10 market. Like 86% of the time when Benny On is inside the top 10, he's also inside the top 5. So why wouldn't you just bet less And let's actually see this. So Benny on for a top 10 is plus 320. That's pretty brutal. But there's still a 5% edge, 24% implied probability. He's doing it. What's going on here? 29% of the time. If you take a look at his top 5 market, we move from Benny on plus 320 to a Benny on plus 750. And our edge goes to 13% because he's finishing inside the top 5 almost as many times as finishing inside the top 10. So in my opinion, you bet Benny on top 5, buddy, in this field in particular. Feel free to also maybe ladder it, lay what you need to win half a unit or a unit back on the top 5, and then lay what you need to win half a unit back maybe on the top 10, the safer bet. But I do think your majority of your exposure needs to be in the top 5 market there, because it just seems like when he pops, he really pops. When he doesn't, he doesn't. Like you got to try and squeeze that juice out where you can. So love Benny on this week, 50-1. Let's go. We've got him each way as well. I would recommend betting him top 5 instead of the top 10. Got Darbo in the house. What's up, Darbo? My main man. We got Phil in the house with 1 yo prior to Darbo's 3. And then Darbo saying, Benny on this week, all about it. Yes, baby. Benny on. By the way, Darbo, I know you're a big monster guy. I've been running low on sleep this week, obviously. Peaches and cream monsters. Delightful. Delectable. Very, very tasty. Chris Connors might pop off Byron. Corey Connors. Corey Connors is interesting. Check yeah, no top 5s this year. That top 10 at the Canadian was one of his first. So it's been a bit of a rough start for Corey Connors and tough scenes for him. But he's not who we're talking about because we're not betting him this week. We're betting Keegan Bradley. Baby. Keegan Bradley. 50-1 or 40-1, whatever you can find out there. What did we bet Keegan at? I'm going on a journey again. Keegan, 50. We got Keegan at 50, baby. That's awesome. So, love Keegan. And guess what? I've got a fun little factoid for you guys. Let's pull up the vault here. So, this is the vault. This is what on Sunday nights, the research stream, this is where it's at. Those of you that are regular viewers, this is, you should recognize the screen to some degree. But what I did is pulled up some stuff here for Keegan Bradley, okay? And if you take a look at what Keegan Bradley's been up to, I'm just going to show you something else before I show you this. Here's Keegan Bradley's strokes gained approach and strokes gained off the tee the last little while. Keegan, off the tee, has been a dynamo, a complete freak in the sheets. Off the tee at Charles Schwab Challenge, he finished second and gained 1.5 strokes per round, 6 total strokes. Then at the PGA Championship, 1.75 total strokes gained off the tee per round. So 1.75 times 2 is 3.5, times 2 is 7. We had 6 at the other place. So what's that? 13-ish strokes. And I think these are true strokes gained. What we're going to be seeing over here is raw strokes gained. So Keegan Bradley, in those 8 rounds of golf, back to back, Charles Schwab PGA Championship, back to back, 8 rounds of golf. These 8 other guys have also gained 12 plus strokes in back-to-back tournaments. Scotty Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy, Keith Mitchell, John Rahm, some other random names, Tommy Fleetwood, Rick Lamb, also in the mix there. But what these guys, these are all premier drivers of the golf ball. And right over here, you're seeing what Keegan Bradley's doing. These are their best 8-week stretches since 2017. Yeah. Like, we've got 7 other guys that have done this. Maybe, I'm assuming a few of them have done it multiple times where they've strung together rounds like this. But just look at this. to gain 12 total strokes on the driving side of things is you've got to be a special kind of a golfer to do that. And that's what Keegan is doing right now. And if we go and just for interest's sakes, pull up the Memorial last year. Let's take a look and see if we can find anything on the strokes gained off the tee side of things. So, Victor Hovland, when he won it, ranked 10th. Other notable names inside the top 10. Denny McCarthy's never going to finish inside the top 10 on strokes gained off the tee. He led the field in putting. But every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people inside the top 11 were top 10 in strokes gained off the tee last year. Another 2 were 16th and 18th. And then Lee Hodges was 19th here off the tee last year. If we go to the previous year, when Billy Horschel won, guess what? Billy Horschel was top 10 off the tee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not nearly as many. It was a bit of a different situation, more so putting in 2022, if you're just kind of looking at a high-level situation. And then for when Patrick Cantley won here in 2021, similar situation. You got to be able to keep your off-the-tee stuff solid. Like there's no one here that's really struggling off the tee. You have to have it together, except for Ricky Fowler. But you know what I'm saying. So for me, getting out of your own way, the way Keegan Bradley is going to be doing it right now, if he continues this driver, and what I've said about this kind of driving performance is approach shots, you can hit it like really close, you can hold it, and you can gain 1.9 strokes on the field on one shot. In order to gain like one shot on the field with the driver, you have to like drive a green, or you have to just hit it like 370 yards into the middle of the fairway kind of thing on a hole that guys are averaging like 310 kind of thing. So what I'm trying to get at is this is an incremental addition of strokes gained for your off the tee, and you're only getting 14 holes off the tee. So I'm kind of almost making it seem like it's less significant, but the way he's driving the golf ball is you got four less holes to gain the strokes that you could with the putter and with your irons, you know? So Keegan just getting his foot off the front step in the middle of the fairway, a million miles down there, is good. It's very, very good. And what I also want to just emphasize one more time on Keegan's situation is take a look at this situation here. It's accuracy and distance. Like he's just found a new gear. The distance has always kind of been there, but the accuracy, he's driving it so straight right now. So straight. So freaking straight. So yes, that is Keegan Bradley for you. The top fives are as often as the top tens, all that jazz. I'm a big believer in Keegan, man. I'm a big believer in Keegan. I don't know, has he played here before? The Memorial? Yeah, he has. Okay, so he's never really thrived, but he's also never really dominated off the tee like he's doing right now. Kind of back in the day, he was doing what he's doing again. But we're seeing some seriously good stuff with Keegan right now. The iron play has been phenomenal. It's difficult to gain that much with the irons when you're dominating off the tee at Charles Schwab, but we'll see. I'm a fan of Keegan this week. He's playing some good golf. I mean, this profile is trending. The ball striking is trending. The profile is trending. We're going back to bent grass greens where Keegan putts well. Let's freaking go, Keegan Bradley, baby. Woo! I might make him my one and done this week. He's moving. He's doing it. And I know the course history is lackluster, but the exciting thing is he's gained putting here the last 3 times he showed up. It's been the irons and the driver that's been letting him down or not really getting him across the line. So if the putter shows up again and we get this ball striking that Keegan is doing right now, we're looking good, baby. We're looking good. So Keegan is our 5th guy on the card. Let's go find our card. Here's our card. Here's back 9 bets. All right. So this is a 7.2x return right now for this kind of a card. If we do the memorial, and we're doing Victor Hovland 18. Sahith the Gala, there's I think 45s, 50s out there. I grabbed the 40 with the each ways. Benny On, 50 to 1. Keegan Bradley, 50 to 1. And Max, like, what is Max Homer having higher odds than all of these other guys, except for Victor maybe, doing? You know, that's what I'm trying to get across here, is the fact that that's the definition of a number grab, is when somebody that's won as prodigiously as Max Homer has, what are we doing with these kind of odds? So, yeah, tough scenes. Rick Lamb, by the way, Mike, I think I remember looking at this. One of them was at the John Deere Classic. He dominated at the John Deere. That was one of his weeks. But I was fascinated at seeing Rick. I had to go check. It made me realize, is this right? Yep, it's right. Rick Lamb. Wild situation from old Big Dick Rick. So yeah, that's our outright card. Let's go hunting down a few placement bets based off the model. And this is the situation. This is what we do here on Back Nine Bets. This is the model being a little stubborn, trying to click, and it's not letting me click. There we go. Okay. So let's look at a few other options. Let's take a peek at some other situations. I'm going to zoom out just a touch so I can digest the information a bit better. And then I'm going to look at the betting board here. So Scotty Scheffler, folks, we are going to do this situation right now. Minus 115 for a top 5 is a 15% edge if you're looking at Scotty Scheffler. He's finishing inside the top 5 at a 68% clip. Minus 115 implies a 53% clip. If you go to the top 10 market, friends, it's minus 260. It's a 12% edge. We are getting a Scotty Scheffler finishing inside the top 10 at an 84% clip. For some weird reason, I kind of just decided to do it this week. I'm going to the top 5 at minus 115. The edge is big. The edge is there. Beware, don't have to lay $26 to win your 10. You can lay your $11.50 to win your 10. You know, I laid the 26 last week and the 10 came back. We're going to try the top 5 side this time and maybe give ourselves a bit more space for the rest of our placement card. I feel like, is this even a thing? That's got to do with that. Do we have... Our results have come at venues that... I don't know. So that's Scotty for you. I mean, this top 5 rate is bananas. 7 out of 10 times he's doing it. It's insane. So minus 115. Let's go. Victor Perez or Mathieu Pavon as last guy in lineup. I'd probably lean Vic. He's starting to... I mean, I was just thinking about this. Mathieu Pavon he won the Farmers, finished second at the play at Pebble, and that's that. That's all he wrote. The guy's made himself a fortune, showed up, played 2 tournaments basically, and he's now priced $6,000. He's min price. Vic Perez finished second last week. I think he's the Frenchman that's probably trending the best of the 2. So I'd lean to him instead of the other way. Phil saying, been waiting on the stream all week. Hell yes, dude. Hell yes. I appreciate that, man. Fucking A. That's so nice to hear. Miles asking random Jordan Spieth. No. And I'll show you a quick Jordan Spieth. Why? Like, you don't even have to look hard. Jordan Spieth. Does this answer your question? Look at this box here. The Valero, his home state. His best finish was a 10th. The last time Jordan Spieth finished inside the top 10, really, was the Waste Management. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 starts ago. Yikes. Yikes. Look at this trend here. Look at what Jordan Spieth's situation's looking like. If you make this just a short little stint, just in 2024, the strokes gain total is like, it's not been good. It's flat. You know, like, Where's the love, ya Speetho? We're really good, but I don't know. I don't know. So, I mean, that's not the worst bet either, Phil, because he's walking around with a knee brace on. This golf course it's a grueling test. Maybe your power can be lacking out of the rough, if your knee hurts a little bit. I don't know what his situation is. I hope that that his situation isn't bad. He's a prodigious talent. He's a phenomenal golfer. I hope he stays healthy. It will be a very sad situation if we find ourselves a situation with Ludwig being injury prone. Like he's so exciting to watch. So, yeah. I don't mind that what is the odds? I guess that's always you never bet something just because you want to bet it. You got to make sure you got the right odds. All right. So as we've said, all of our outrights are top 5 bets. We're going to bet Scotty top 5 as well. That's also probably why I probably wanted to bet the top 10. But hey, Scotty's likely going to finish inside the top 5. Our guys, maybe one or two of them get to the mix there. And the whole point about betting Scotty for these bets is it almost subsidizes your outright card because you can't bet Scotty Scheffler at plus 300. But you can bet Scotty Scheffler for a top 5 at minus 150, 115. And you bet your 1150. And if your total outright card is $10, Scotty Scheffler finishes inside the top 5 or wins the tournament, you get your outright card back. That's basically how I've been doing it. And it's been working wonderfully. If I had my betting odds up, Scotty Scheffler, you'd see a $1,000 return, top 5, top 10, top 20 markets to win $100 per bet. So he's just stacking these things routinely. It's like annuities. Scotty Scheffler, blue chip, baby. That's the definition right there. Rory, playing solid golf, never really thrived at this venue. If you're going to be betting him, you want to bet him top 5. His top 5 numbers, and I'm looking at some really small numbers now, so I'm going to have to put the old man shades on. I'm 32 years old. Apologies. But Rory for a top 5 is plus 160. It's the same odds as Xander. Yet their betting odds are different. At one point they were, at least. So plus 160 for a top 5 for Rory. I don't know about that. I don't think it's going to kick it out for us. No. So, yeah. That's implying a 38% rate. It's not quite what he's been doing. I know it's a smaller field, but hey. Oh, boy. The caddy. The Celtic connections. Bob last week. Rory the week 2-3 weeks before. And you know what I'm kind of curious about with Rory is it's the week before a major. He won the Genesis Scottish Open before the Open Championship. He won Wells Fargo the week before the PGA Championship. What did Rory do? He finished 3rd at the Valero. So Rory, in his last 3 tournaments before a major, has won 2 and finished 3rd. What did he do? Here we go. Rabbit hole. Off we go. Okay. Rory McIlroy. In the start before the US Open, the RBC Canadian, he finished 9th. Almost won that. So that's another top 10. The Genesis he won. And then he won the Wells Fargo. What did he do? 3rd there. Yes. Okay, let's go to 2023. So we got the Genesis Scottish Open that he won. 9th at the Canadian the week before the US Open. And then that's pretty much where it stops. So it's a rather short-term trend over that span. TaylorMade just showed Rory throwing darts. They're not sure if they were just practice shots, but well, that's Rory for you. It's like, it's sexy, but you can't touch. The price isn't there. The consistency isn't there. The sustainability is there. And you can't get married to this guy because he'll just dump your ass and leave you for Amanda Balionis. I saw photos of them hugging after his interview. So, yes, tough times to be a spouse or a bank account associated with Rory McIlroy. Getting back to what we were trying to do here. So we're leaving him alone. Xander, I've bet top 10 already, as well at the same situation as Scotty. Minus 150, minus 130 now. So even then, I think we still got an edge. No, we don't. Minus 115. Wow. So I bet this without even plugging it in, and that's close. But the thing is, this is the last 12 months, the last 20 rounds of golf. If you look at Xander Schauffele, it's just been top 10 central since the US Open. I mean, literally this year. We're just rattling off top 10s like crazy. So this is actually the better. Look at this year. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 starts. Let's go 3 starts, excluding the Zurich. 3 starts this year have been outside the top 10. The rest have all been inside the top 10. So, I feel like if you just looked at this and then looked at the odds board and saw minus 130, I feel like you should make the connection that that's the bet that you need to make here, is the top 10 side of things. So dive into that with Xander and minus 130, folks. So we're cool. We're cool there. I'll just make this minus 130 just because. And that's a maniac override. I would still bet this for sure. All right. Victor Hovland, we've bet for the top 5 already with the each ways. But if you weren't doing that and you want to just bet him top 5 in isolation, Victor Hovland's top 5 number is plus 280. Oh, God. And that's a negative edge there. So yuckies. That's not nice. So can't do that. But we're betting him, like we said. And we've also got old comments in here. Was like, what the hell is Shane Lowry doing? Control G. By the way, Control G opens up your special stuff so you can delete notes in abundance here. So Control G, and then you've got all your notes that you have here, and you go right click and you just delete note, and then boom, all your notes that were everywhere are gone. And that is your Excel tip for the day. Control G is your special button that, it's like the G spot. It's a button that's hard to find, but when you do find it, it works wonders for you. All righty. Colin Morikawa, we'll bet him top 5 likely. That just went off the deep end big time. But if you take a look at what Colin's been up to, same situation here. Look at this 80%. This is why we put this box here. 80% of the time when Colin is finishing inside the top 10, it's a top 5. He's finishing inside the top 5 20% of the time. He's finishing inside the top 10 25% of the time. So if you were to choose the odds between plus 115 and plus 250, I would lean the plus 250 because he's doing it only 5% more. So, or less, right? So plus 250 for a top 5 for Colin, negative odds. Now it's a smaller field, but I still, like the fact that Scotty Scheffler's odds are still relatable and provide an edge in a 70-man field just goes to show you that his market still isn't adjusted to what he's doing right now. So we're going to, you know what, dudes and girls? I'm so tempted just to do this because looking at all these other odds, they ass. And it's not looking fun to bet them. So maybe we just go back and take in our additional, we just bet the top 10 with Scotty as well. Bet the top 5 and the top 10. We lay $37.50 to win 2 units on Scotty. That's a third of our bankroll. He's the most profitable golfer on the planet, and we can't bet him outright at plus 300. And if the rest of our bets aren't giving us an edge, times are tough. So we got to find another avenue. Maybe we come back to the Scotty Scheffler top 10. I don't know. Ludwig's injured. We just spoke about betting him to miss the cut. So no, can't, no. Sorry. Patrick Cantley coming back to a golf course that he's got, why is this course history not showing up? This model is broken because it is what it is. But if you take a look at what Cantley's been up to, 32nd in the field in strokes gained total. So that's middle of the pack. Now, if you go to Patrick Cantley's track record at this golf course, got a different situation here, though. And Patrick Cantley plays well at golf courses that Patrick Cantley plays well at. He plays well at the Genesis. He plays well at the RBC Heritage. And he plays well at the Memorial. He's won here twice. I think one of them, he lost to Colin in the Workday, but he's won this tournament twice in the past. But last year, finished 30th in the 2020 season, finished 32nd. So if he's not finishing fourth or winning, it's tough scenes for him. Peace out, Darbo. Yeah, I'm still having to write articles. I'm still having to scramble. It's been a crazy day, but I'll be in on your stream at some point, my friend, as always. So looking forward to chatting to you there. When you guys are done listening to this, go over and check out Sweet Spot DFS on YouTube on Tuesday nights at 8 Eastern, I believe is when Darbo starts. So once you're done with me, we'll all head over to Sweet Spot and hang out over there. But till then, I'm going to bring up RBC Heritage as well. And I'm also going to bring up the Genesis because I want to just show you the track record that this guy has at these golf courses and potentially why we want to bet him. I mean, look at this. You just filter on 3 golf courses and it's just a dark green column of results, particularly the last little while. Since 2022, boy, at those 3 venues, we've got a slew of second, third, T30, fourth, third. That is some impressive stuff. So he plays well at these golf courses that he plays well at. And he's potentially a DFS option. I don't know, monitor the ownership. I don't know. I typically like to bet guys like this in the DFS side of things. What would he be for a top 5? And we're trying to bet everyone top 5 because it's such a small field. It's weird. But plus 425 for a top 5, plus 190 for a top 10. So let's say plus 420. I mean, Jesus, we've got so many top 25s already. But it checks out for a top 10. We change this to a top 5 and it's going to change things up for us. So I guess it stays the same because he's the exact same situation. We've got 100% conversion rate for top 5s when he's finishing top 10. So to me, this is a top 5 bet for sure. You know, at this golf course, you're only dropping plus 425 to win out $10 back in breaking 100. That's less than $2.50, right? You only have to bet your $2.25 or so, and off you go. You're going to get your $10 back for a Patrick Cantley situation that's happening in essence 1 in every 5 times, 1 in every 4 times. So we're getting an edge there. And I like his chances at a golf course like this. We'll take a chance on him and see what happens. It's 2.5% of our entire bankroll that we're going to be laying to win a unit, to win 10% back. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that exposure. Justin Thomas, what does he do best? He doesn't really have a specific range. He kind of just does his thing. I don't know how I feel about JT. How's JT done at this golf course in the past? Okie dokes. And we're going to get rid of the RBC Heritage and the Genesis and just see the Memorial. JT's never really done it around here, has he? Back in the day, T4, T8, but since he struggled with the putters in a big way. And by the way, who were we chatting to? It was, on the Rotoballer PGA show with me and Joe Idoni. Yes, while you're at it, smash that like button, folks. Thank you, Barry. We spoke about the course's renovation taking place in the 2019 year. Changed it from being this venue that you can completely dominate with distance to a bit more of a nuanced venue. And since then, we've seen guys struggle. And JT in particular has not found success at this venue before. So we'll leave him alone. Course history at this golf course is particularly sticky. If you take a look at Data Golf is a phenomenal tool, by the way. If you are looking to invest somewhere, this is my favorite website. Historical tournament stats. If you take a look at, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for course history. Course history right over here. For the Memorial, it's one of the highest correlations you can find of past success predicting future success. This is Alchemy Leon at Mayakoba. You know, we've seen guys show up there repeatedly. Bay Hill, other names, Quail Hollow. And guess what? These are all golf courses. Bay Hill, Quail, and Murfield. Let's add a few more names. Sedgefield. let's go TPC River Highlands, TPC San Antonio, Scottsdale, and Riviera. Like Riv, Bay Hill, and the Masters are all big, strong, bad boy golf courses. So, places with good course history reward a certain specific skill set, and it's distance off the tee with accuracy mixed in, and good long iron play, particularly out the rough, and your ability to scramble. So, what do we like about everybody at this golf course is that JT, somehow, he seems to do all that stuff well, but has never found it at this golf course. So we're going to leave him alone. Tommy Fleetwood, we bet top 10 last week. Guess what? Tommy made a double on his first hole on Sunday and never found himself inside the top 10 again. So he's not freaking serious about his golf at all right now. A lackluster top 20 from Tommy Fleetwood on Sunday, which hurt us. We would have won $20 back on our $10 bet, and we wouldn't have lost our 50. We would have only lost 30 last week had Tommy Fleetwood just finished inside the top 10. But no, he doesn't. So I don't know if we're going to go back to him here. I'm going to leave him alone. Hideki Matsuyama, we've got a future on for the US Open at 60-1, by the way. And I will show you why. Let's go over here. Let's fiddle with some stuff. All right. So this is, again, we're in the vault, and I've filtered on events that have at least 20 rounds worth of data for a specific golfer. And you know what? We can kind of dull it down to 16 as we go. But I was looking, and I did this when I was kind of researching Sam Burns, because Sam Burns, nobody in a 20-round data set has gained more strokes putting at the Valspar Championship than Sam Burns. And it's by a lot. It's by 0.3. If you go from Andrew Putnam at the Sony and you take away 0.3, you're dropping like 4 or 5 additional spots. So it's pretty substantial. Then what I went and did is look, okay, let's see. Is this 1.7 strokes gained per round? Per round. Remember, we saw Keegan Bradley driving the golf ball at this kind of a rate right now. So just for interest's sakes, like the best 20-round sample size from Rory at US Opens is 1.37 strokes gained off the tee. And Keegan's averaging like 1.6 over the last 8. So let's just sneeze quickly. 2 seconds. So I've never had to sneeze on a show before, I don't think. And it never came. Tough scenes for me. But getting back to what I'm trying to talk about, yeah, is I went and saw, okay, let's take a look at approach play. Filter on the largest there. 1.8 strokes per round on approach is what Hideki Matsuyama is gaining at the US Open. I repeat, 1.8 strokes on approach per round is what Hideki Matsuyama is gaining at US Opens. 20 rounds. 20 rounds of golf, at least. That is more than what Sam Burns gains on the greens at the Valspar. It's the only metric that has gained more than Sam Burns in any other area. And that is Hideki Matsuyama at approach at US Opens. So just bear that in mind. We're going to Hideki at the US Open, whatever number you can get him at there, it's where we're going. So, someone that's lactose intolerant this week kills me with all the milkshake coverage. I love a good milkshake. I do love a good milkshake, though. My favorite flavor is lime. Love a lime milkshake. Love a good lime milkshake. So, yeah, Sam Burns at the Valspar. If we drop this to, say, let's do 16 rounds and just see what happens. So the best putting performance in 16 rounds minimum is still Sam Burns. On approach, it's still Hideki. So yeah, even with 4 rounds taken away from people's baseline, Hideki's still crushing it at US Opens. And then back in the day, Dustin Johnson crushing it on approach at the Northern Trust of all places. All right, so Hideki, we kind of just leaving him alone. He hasn't played much golf lately. Why do I want to just bet every single golfer top 5? I don't know. Wyndham Clark, top 5 market. It's plus 650 for a top 5 from Wyndham Clark. For a top 5, that is a 13% edge. He's doing it 26% of the time. A plus 650 number suggests it only happens 13% of the time. So it's happening double what this number suggests to us. We've just got so many freaking top 5 bets here, though. It's kind of crazy, but we're not betting this Victor top 5. We've already got the each way. So I guess with the each ways, it is what it is. We're just gonna roll, but only so many people can finish inside the top 5, though. That's the thing. And we've bet so many of these guys that have this like double stack with the top 5 and top 10 situation. So maybe we have to leave Wyndham Clark alone. I don't know. I want to bet it, but we can't bet a million people to finish inside the top 5. It's just you're saturating that market on your own. You got to bet enough so that if every bet hits, it can. You don't want to bet a top 5 market that you're betting 7 guys. It means all 7 have to finish inside. It can happen with ties, but not what we're looking for. So we're going to leave that alone. I don't feel right betting him top 10 when we're getting the top 5 number, yeah. We'll leave him alone. Jordan Spieth, we've already discussed Jordan Spieth. Corey Connors, no top 5s. So the ball striking, incredible. The irons is still doing his thing. The putting sucks. So I don't know what to do with him. I think I said to Joe Idoni that I'd be betting him top 20. What is a top 20 bet harvest for Corey Connors over here? Plus 120, that's not going to help us because he's not doing it as routinely. So, yeah, I don't know about that. But is there maybe a reason to kind of lean into a bit more recent form from Corey Connors? Is he finishing inside the top 20 a bit more than we think? Not really. You know, like what we've seen from him is 1, 2, 3, 4 top 20s in 1, 2, 3, 4, like a yeah. That's not necessarily there. The short game is obviously in Canada, he gains 1 million strokes putting on Sunday, but don't expect this to continue, in my opinion. Especially here. You know, maybe he putts a bit better, but the putting has kind of lost all of his touch the last little while. Yeah, he was putting better in 2021, 2022. He was neutral. Now he's losing 0.16. Like he's having a really bad year again. So yeah, leave Corey Connors alone. Can't get to him there. I don't mind Shane Lowry for a top nothing. Leave him. I mean, top 20 for Shane Lowry. What is Shane Lowry's top 20 number? And for those of you that are part of the Thunder and Lightning Brigade here on Back Nine Bets, Ernie under the table. It's been perfectly fine weather all day. And now we get Thunder and Lightning in the middle of our show again. But no tornado warnings. So we're doing good there. All right. Keegan Bradley, we've already said that. Top 5. Alex Noren for a top 20, maybe. I don't mind him whatsoever for a top 20. Let's take a peek at Alex Noren's top 20 market. Plus 120. So a top 20 for Alex Noren, especially after some flop lag, after a disgusting performance from him at the RBC Canadian. Noren has been on a top 20 run, folks. Look at this. So the first time I've bet Alex Noren for a top 20 was last week. Misses the cut. Prior to that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 20s in 8 starts. Yeah, baby. And the finishes in the other 2 non-top 20s were 23rd and 24th. So we've got 8 top 25 finishes prior to me betting him top 20. And then when we do, he goes and misses the cut. Because that's what Alex Noren does. Chalk Alex Noren is not good. You never want chalk Alex Noren. When it makes too much sense, it makes too much sense. So, I mean, this, in a small field like this, a top 20, I'm in. I'll override this a bit. Let's pretend. I mean, dude, if you look at just this year, this number turns into a top 20 number of probably what? 70%. This year, that number would be probably closer to 50. You know, he started off a little slow, but the last little while, it's been incredible. Been incredible. Granted, the only he finished outside the top 20 at Wells Fargo, which was a designated event or a signature event. But he's played well at all the other ones. So I think we can go to Alex Noren for a top 20 for sure. Yes, all of these are, well, unless it's an each way at Bet Rivers, you're going to get your 6 places and dead heats are part of the situation there. But these top 5 bets are at Bet 365, which pays ties in full. So yes, ties paid in full is 100% the way to go. If you just choosing one or the other, you have to bet the ties paid in full and go from there. Any other options? Let's find the Shane Lowry top 20. Maybe we can do that. I have no idea where to look for Shane Lowry on the odds board. Plus 145. Yeah, I'm in. I think we go to Shane Lowry at a top 20 market, yeah? If we change this to top 20, we get a 6% edge on that, and that's for a 12-month stint. If you take a look at what Shane Lowry's been up to the last little while, are we rattling off top 20s like crazy? Not really. Not really, Bob. We've lost it. All of these top 20s were happening earlier on in his stint. Like, since the Masters, it's been bad. So, no, not going to be doing Shane Lowry. This doesn't look good at all. At all. Yuck. Cameron Young, if I had my betting market data, Cameron Young is one of the worst bets you can make. Like, let's just look here. He's finishing inside the top 20 at a 35% clip. Cameron Young is plus 130 for a top 20. It's a 9% negative edge in a small field. Like, yuck. You know, can't do it there. Siwoo Kim, we don't have a top 40 market, I don't believe. So maybe we'd have to go top 20. But Siwoo Kim is a top 40 beast. The top 20 market, it's quite poor for him. And his upside market, top 10, top 5, not there at all. 8 and 4%. So not very good. But I wouldn't mind taking a peek at a top 40 for Siwoo. What is he for a top 20? Plus 120. Ugh. That's not going to get it done either. That's what we were looking for, like for a top 40 almost from him. But yeah, that's not going to get it done. So I can't do that. It's almost looking like another one of those weeks where I don't know how many guys we're going to bet, man. I think we're going to double down on the Scotty thing, bet him top 10 as well. And just, you know, if he finishes outside the top 5, we just lose $1.50. But if he finishes outside the top 20, we lose $37. If he finishes inside the top 5, we make $20 on our whatever investment, you know. So it's good to see that we can find a way to still kind of lay a large chunk of our card out there. And I think we're going to do it on Scotty. We're going to do it on Xander and kind of go from there. So I think what we're going to do is a lot outrights each ways, also into our placement budget as well, because we got a lot of these top 5s involved here as well. So I think that's going to be it for me. You know, this is a weird week. The week before a major. I think we're just going to lean into Scotty. We're going to lean into Noren. Siwoo at the Memorial. Last 3. 9th, 13th, and 4th. Wow. Okay, let's take a look. Thank you for that. I did not realize that he's got that good of a course history here. But again, look at this. We don't have a top 10. We got the players. That's it. And that's a golf course he's played at very well in the past. And it's the only time he's really gained putting. So I guess he putts well here too. He really putts well here. He putts really, really well here. Wow. This is a really impressive track record here, Mike, for Siwoo at the Memorial. So his last 4 starts have all been top 20s. Jesus, do we do this? Siwoo plus 120 for a top 20. He's been knocking out top 20s like crazy. I think that's the market. I don't know if I'd touch the top 10 side of things with him, but a top 20 bet on Siwoo, fine. Fine, Mike. Fine. I can get behind that a little bit. Even despite the lack of edge on a long run, I'd imagine if we change that to 6 months, it's better. So let's go. Siwoo Kim, top 20 at plus 120 is the bet. So that's that. Any other I saw, was there some deep dive requests earlier in the show? Tybo showed up and disappeared, but I guess that's Twitter. You know, the Twitter people are flaky. Mike hanging out in the Twitter chat pretty hard. Mike, you need to get onto the YouTube side of things. Hit that like button for me, subscribe. I know you've subscribed to the channel already though, but go hit that like button, folks. I don't know. I don't see any requests for, we've spoken about Jordan Spieth, Corey Connors, we've spoken about. The farewell fiver will be in the article. The Benny on we've chatted about. Okay, cool. So we good. Oh. Okay. How do we not play this guy? And this is the problem with not having a functioning model, is that the likes of Tom Hoagie doesn't show. And you know what? We got some stuff to chat about here. We've got some stuff to chat about because we've bet Will Zalatoris for a top 5 and a top 10 at ridiculous numbers. The top 5 is at 11-1. 4 times the amount Scotty Scheffler is slated to win the tournament. So Will Zalatoris. And this is, I'm so happy I spoke to Joe Idoni last night because I've been the dude. I bet Willie Z at the PGA. I bet him with the same situation. Top 5 at the PGA at 12-1. It didn't go well. But there's a reason for that. Taking a look at Will Zalatoris' situation, outside of the poor finish at the Wells Fargo, the PGA Championship, his ball striking showed up again. The irons were good. The problem was the score got to -21. -21. If you look where Will Zalatoris finished up, 43rd? He shot -6 and never shot better than a 68. I would not be shocked if Will Zalatoris shoots -6 this week again at Murfield. His game just translates to these difficult venues. If we do this and go select events, let's go the Masters, which has happened recently. Let's go Farmers. Let's go Genesis. Let's go a few more difficult big boy golf courses. Let's do the Genesis Invitational. We've already clicked that button. No, that was the Scottish that we clicked. Let's get rid of the Scottish. We don't want that. We also want, here's the Memorial clicked in here. We can put in, yeah, I'm fine with that. Look at these results. This is the world that Will Zalatoris thrives in. Long iron intensive, thick rough, low scoring venues. That's what Will Zalatoris does. All of these golf courses that he's got good finishes at are like the Farmers. He played poorly. -13 was the winning score. The Genesis, -17. Wow, he got to -13 somehow this year. The Farmers, last year he did that. You know, all of these venues he thrives at. I mean, these Genesis Invitational finishes have been that golf course has become a lot easier than people think the last little while. But anyway, we're betting Will Zalatoris and rocking and rolling at 11-1 for a top 10. And that's at FanDuel. We're taking on the exposure of the dead heats there. Because if you take a look at Will Zalatoris, he's plus 850 elsewhere. You know, like, we'll take the juice, go see what happens. 11-1's a nice number, and then you can grab the top 10 as well. So that's what you want to do with Will Zalatoris. And then Tom Hoagie for a top 20 is plus 175. That's an auto bet for us on back nine bets. It's a 1% implied negative edge. But what we do know is Tom Hoagie's finished inside the top 20 in half of his starts this year. Here's the century. So since we came back from the Sony, top 20, 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 top 20 at the Charles Schwab. T23 at the PGA Championship. That hurt us. But still, another good finish. So, Tom Hoagie lost with his irons at the Irish Open in 2023 in September. That was the last time he lost with his irons. It's been incredible what he's been doing with the irons the last little while. And the putter has been showing some love as well. And the short game seems to be not as bad as it once was. Oh, I guess he wasn't too shabby back then. 2022 was a tough scene for him. Now, he's always been pretty shoddy, but he's not losing nearly as much around the greens as he used to. You know, like it used to be a bloodbath. Now it's not. So lots to like. This top 20 run has been, geez, boys and girls. I mean, how do you not bet at plus 175, top 20 in a 70-man field on a guy that is one of the best iron players in the world and rattling off top 20s like crazy? And guess what? His best finish in that stretch was a 6th. He hasn't had a top 5 yet. So this is the bet. Top 20, Tom Hoagie. Don't bet him top 5. Don't bet him to win. He hasn't shown he can do that, but he can show just comfortably living in that top 20 range. So we betting Tom Hoagie plus 175 for a top 20. He's done it half his starts in 2024. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, folks. That's it for me. Been a rough week. Mentally, it's been a tough one, man. I have been struggling this week, big time. It's been work, accounting, it's been golf. The weather's bad, lacking sleep. My foot hurts from when I fell still. Like, times are tough, but there's a lot to be appreciative about. There's a lot to be optimistic about, and it's all stuff that can get fixed. So we can handle it. It's been a rough week, but you get through it. Lean on those around you, love those around you, and just get through it, folks. We got to keep doing our thing, man. So I appreciate you all for tuning in. This was our inaugural appearance on the Mayor Media Network. We'll be doing that on the go forward for the Tuesday shows. The Sunday night research streams will still remain on Back Nine Bets. Use code MANIAC for 10% off at rotoballer.com for all my premium stuff over there. And if you're in the mood, get yourself everything premium at rotoballer.com using code MANIAC for 10% off. You can use that for my package or for the full platinum package, which I would recommend. So thank you so much. Dr. Giggles, MD. Feel better. Thank you, my man. From the doc. So you know the deal. You know the drill. But folks, tough week, but still optimistic and happy about life. So we're doing okay. We're doing fine and hanging in there. So I'll catch you guys next week for the US Open. Sunday night research stream might be on Friday night because it's the US Open. So maybe we'll grab some Modelo's, some Ruthies or something. Have ourselves a nice, relaxing Friday night researching the US Open, which will be taking place next week. So awesome, awesome stuff. For those of you that are not in the live chat, comment on the video downstairs. Let me know what your favorite bets are, favorite milkshakes, whatever the hell you want to comment down there. Let the algorithm know. Let's show the people on the Mayor Media Network what we mean over here on Back Nine Bets, folks. So episode 101 in the books. Jack's Milkshakes bring 5 boys to the yard. Hopefully one of them can leave with some medal after the week and sip on some nice lime milkshakes out of that hardware. Till next week, folks, we'll catch you guys then. Peace.